Hey everyone, James Fry with Grow Everywhere. We're here in Fort Collins at the Sustainable Living Association Fair with Joel Salatin, master farmer and activist. So Joel, welcome. Thanks very much for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you're a farmer, everyone knows that. But as you can tell by your speaking and your books, you're much more passionate than maybe your average farmer. So can you tell me about your mission? You seem to be a man on a mission. What is that mission?
Our mission statement is to develop ecologically, economically, and emotionally enhancing agricultural prototypes and facilitate their duplication throughout the world.
Excellent.
So it's a one statement, mission statement, but it's very concise, and that's what we do. So we've got to develop prototypes that actually work, and then try to see them disseminated, or the principles disseminated widely.
Okay. So a big part of what you do is R&D then, basically.
Yes, we do. We do a lot of R&D.
Excellent. So, you just gave a speech here in front of a couple hundred people. You've spoken far and wide and traveled the world. Why is it that so many people are interested in what a farmer has to say? I find that kind of interesting.
Well, sure. Well, I think it's just part of the whole what I'll call the integrity food tsunami. There's just a huge interest in integrity food. People realize that most of the food that's available is compromised. I could say unfit to eat, but I'll just say compromised in some way.
Sure.
Nutritionally, pathogenically, toxic, by toxicity, whatever. And so there's a huge quest to find solutions to the food issue, because you can live without a lot of things, even money, but it's really hard to live without food. So food is a really uniting bridge, bipartisan and very eclectic in its appeal.
Sure. So about 100 years ago, everyone had that personal bridge to food and its production. They were very involved in processing and the production and the consuming, and it was an enjoyable, visceral experience that everyone took part in. And you talk about a lot about that in your book. Folks, This Ain't Normal. Great book. How is it that today we've become so disconnected from that experience, and how have we reached this level of abnormality, as you describe it?
Yeah. Well, I think it's primarily because we could. We could, and I mean, good grief, we're drawn to laziness. I mean, and so if there's an easier way, we'll do it. So if a big food corporation will fix your meal for you and you don't have to fool with it, then do it. The problem is, just like a lot of things, there are costs to that easier approach. Just like shortcuts, you ever try to shortcut and you find out, I think I should have stayed on the main road over there. This is worse than if I'd have just done that. And that's the way this is. I think what happens is that we're very duplicitous to something that seems easier.
Sure.
So we jump down that, and then we get down there, and then we realize, ooh, this wasn't really a shortcut. Now it's causing more trouble than I would have had I just stayed with some of these things to start with.
Understood.
And frankly, as a culture, we were told that kitchen work was demeaning to women, that a home-centric food system was it wasn't glitzy. It's glitzy to get stuff out of a box with 4-color pictures on it.
Sure.
And so there was a certain allure, not unlike Hollywood celebrity allure, to lure people out of this participatory, integrated, visceral connection that they'd had. And people tend to get tired of what they're doing and look for something new.
Yeah.
And then you look and you realize, ooh, maybe it wasn't so bad after all.
Sure. Okay, so basically, now that we're so disconnected from this, people who are interested in what you have to say are interested in getting back into it and reconnecting with food. However, I find that a lot of people out there they think this is a cool idea and they're really interested in it, but there's a lot of fear, it seems, to producing your own food. And there's fear in general. There's a lot of I can't do it mentality, where I hear a lot of people saying, oh, I don't have a green thumb. In fact, houseplants fear me. That kind of verbiage. So in your experience, what is the most empowering thing that someone can do to take hold of that responsibility again and really want to do it?
The most empowering thing that I can offer is, you've heard the old saying, if it's worth doing right. Mm-hmm. That's wrong.
Okay.
Actually, the truth is, if it's worth doing poorly first. Because we don't walk well, talk well, write well, poop well. I guess we do poop well, but we don't know where to put it. You know, we have to learn these skills. Nobody does anything well at first. And so the thing you have to do is just to appreciate that old song about if it's worth doing right is wrong. The truth is, if it's worth doing poorly first, and just start. And guess what? My dad used to say, if at first you don't suck a seed, just suck and suck and suck until you do suck a seed, and you'll gradually figure it out.
Excellent. That's great wisdom. Just trying and going after it.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So,
the difference between success and failure, the opposite of success is not failure. The opposite of success is giving up. Everyone who's successful failed just as many times as the people who failed, except the last one.
Right.
The difference was they did it one more time.
Excellent. So let's say that America and the world in general got excited about failing and trying and error and all that stuff, and then they started succeeding in producing some real amount of food at home. Do you think that we could defeat the likes of Monsanto and companies who are out to control our food system? Do you think that we could do away with those evildoers?
Oh, absolutely. There's no question about it. I mean, we've got 36 million acres of lawn in America. Mm-hmm. We've got 35 million acres housing and feeding recreational horses. That's 71 million acres, which is enough to feed the entire country without a single farm. So, there's no question. I'm a big advocate of just opt out. Don't patronize it. Sure. We don't need regulations. We don't need new laws. We don't need new bureaucracies. Sure. You just need to quit financing the people that erode soil and disrespect life.
Agree. Excellent. And just for fun, let's say that we took away your beautiful farm, we ever would, and we put you in a average American home with an average sized backyard. How much food do you think you could produce for yourself and your family?
Oh, I think we could produce all of it. I mean, there's everything from aquaponics to stacking to raised bed, John Jevons, bio-intensive farming. You've got a patio, you've got a rooftop for a beehive, you've got kitchen scraps to feed a couple of chickens, and get your own eggs. I mean, there is a tremendous amount that you can do. In the little dirt spot between the house and the sidewalk, you can grow vines and trellis them up the side of the house. Sure. Put a solarium on the side of the house facing the sun, so you have winter production of mesclun mix and lettuce and cold season stuff, and passive heat to help the house. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's just all sorts of things you can do.
Yeah, it's limitless.
It is. It really is.
That's excellent. Now, obviously, you're a farmer. You know how to do all that stuff. Average everyday person, maybe they don't know how to do that stuff, but can they learn? Is it doable?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know how to do IT work or build rockets, but if I wanted to, I think I'd probably get some books on the subject and maybe attend a course or two, and maybe read some bloggers along the way. Or the fact is that ignorance is not an excuse in and of itself. There's nothing wrong with being ignorant. Sure. What there's something wrong with is being ignorant and refusing to invest in the time it takes to not be ignorant anymore. Sure. And all of these things can be learned. There's a tremendous amount of literature, lots of websites, blogging, lots of stuff going on. What the battle is between our ears. That's where the battle is. Sure. And if we get that battle fought and say, okay, I'm willing to invest in this, the sky's the limit.
That's it. Game over.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, you've heard it from the man, Joel Salatin. Get out there and grow some stuff, like he says. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.